Come on, King.
Team Manley, Walter
Come on, Raheem. Get up, Raheem. Come on, Raheem.